Welcome back to Human Behavior Lab. I'm New York, your host and observer. Today, we're examining two seemingly different phenomena that actually share a common thread: the human desire for transformation.
And I'm Wan. I've been really curious about today's topics. One is about books that promise to make us think better, and the other is about narcissism. They seem pretty different at first glance.
An astute observation. Both topics reveal how humans grapple with the gap between who they are and who they wish to become. Let's begin with the first phenomenon, the enduring popularity of self-improvement literature.
I see so many people around me reading these must-read lists. It feels like everyone's trying to optimize themselves these days.
Indeed. A recent article highlighted 10 best research-backed books that improve thinking and focus. The very framing is interesting. Research-backed suggests scientific legitimacy, while must-read creates social pressure.
I've definitely felt that pressure. Like if I don't read these books, I'm somehow falling behind everyone else. Is that a common feeling?
Quite common. This relates to what psychologists call social comparison theory. When people observe others engaging in self-improvement activities, they experience anxiety about their own perceived inadequacy.
So the books themselves might not be the problem. It's the whole culture around them?
Precisely. Let's examine what drives people to seek these books. There are three primary psychological mechanisms at play. First, what we call illusion of control.
Illusion of control? What does that mean exactly?
In an unpredictable world, reading a research-backed book gives people a sense that they're taking concrete action. The act of purchasing and reading creates a feeling of agency, even before any actual change occurs.
Oh, I've done that. I buy a book and already feel better, like I've accomplished something just by owning it. Is that normal?
Entirely normal. Research shows that the mere act of acquiring self-help resources activates the brain's reward system. This is sometimes called premature satiation. The satisfaction comes before the actual work.
That's kind of relieving to hear. So what's the second mechanism?
The second is identity signaling. By reading certain books, people signal to themselves and others that they are the type of person who values growth, learning, and self-improvement.
Like wearing a certain brand of clothing to show who you are?
An apt analogy. The book becomes both a tool and a symbol. Interestingly, studies show that people who display self-help books on their shelves often haven't read them. The display itself serves the identity signaling function.
That's fascinating and a little funny. What's the third mechanism?
The third is optimization mindset, a particularly modern phenomenon. In previous generations, self-help focused on fixing problems. Today, it's about optimization, becoming better than good enough.
That really resonates. Feels like good enough isn't acceptable anymore. Everyone's trying to hack their productivity, their focus, their thinking.
This shift reflects broader cultural changes. The rise of technology culture, where systems are constantly optimized and updated, has influenced how humans view themselves. We've begun to see our minds as systems that need regular upgrades.
That's a bit unsettling when you put it that way. Is this mindset harmful?
It's neither inherently good nor harmful, it depends on implementation. When people use books as genuine tools for growth, benefits follow. But when reading becomes compulsive, replacing actual action, it creates what researchers call self-help addiction.
Self-help addiction? I didn't know that was a thing.
Some individuals continuously consume self-help content without implementing changes. Each book promises a new solution, creating a cycle of hope and disappointment. The industry, valued at over $11 billion annually, thrives on this cycle.
Wow. So people get caught in a loop of reading about improvement without actually improving?
Precisely. But this isn't about assigning blame. The structural reality is that modern life creates enormous pressure to perform, achieve, and optimize. Self-help books offer accessible, affordable hope. Now, let's transition to our second topic. Recent research has illuminated surprising findings about how narcissism develops, and whether it can be reversed.
Narcissism is something I hear about a lot these days. It feels like everyone's talking about narcissists, especially on social media. But what actually makes someone a narcissist?
Excellent question. Let's first distinguish between narcissistic traits and narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD. Many people have some narcissistic tendencies, confidence, self-interest, without having a clinical disorder.
So it's like a spectrum? Most people fall somewhere in the middle?
Correct. The research reveals that narcissism typically develops through a combination of genetic predisposition and environmental factors. The surprising finding is that parenting style plays a more significant role than previously understood.
What kind of parenting leads to narcissism? I always thought it was from parents giving kids too much praise.
That's a common misconception. The research shows two distinct pathways. One is what we call overvaluation, treating children as superior and entitled. But surprisingly, the second pathway is through emotional neglect and lack of warmth.
Wait, neglect can cause narcissism too? That seems like opposite extremes.
This is where the psychology becomes fascinating. Children who don't receive adequate emotional validation may develop narcissistic traits as a protective mechanism, a way to self-validate when external validation is absent.
So narcissism can be a survival strategy? That changes how I see it completely.
From a structural perspective, yes. Narcissism can be understood as a maladaptive coping mechanism. The child learns to create their own sense of importance because no one else provides it.
That's actually quite sad. But what about the kids who were overvalued? That seems more like what people imagine.
The overvaluation pathway creates what researchers call fragile high self-esteem. These children are told they're special and superior, but they lack the genuine achievements to support this self-image. This creates deep insecurity masked by grandiosity.
So both pathways lead to insecurity, just expressed differently?
A keen observation. Both pathways result in what psychologists term vulnerable narcissism, a fragile self-structure that requires constant external reinforcement. The confident exterior masks deep fear of inadequacy.
This connects to social media, doesn't it? All those likes and followers.
Indeed. Social media platforms provide exactly what vulnerable narcissism requires: constant, quantifiable validation. Likes, followers, and comments become the external reinforcement that temporarily soothes internal inadequacy.
So the digital age might be making narcissism worse?
The structural conditions certainly favor narcissistic expression. However, the research also indicates something important. Narcissism exists on a continuum, and most people displaying narcissistic behaviors don't have NPD.
That's a good reminder. People sometimes throw around narcissist pretty casually online.
This casual labeling has consequences. When every difficult person is called a narcissist, it diminishes understanding of the actual condition and creates cynicism in relationships.
Now for the big question I saw in the headline: can narcissism be reversed?
The research offers cautious optimism. While personality traits are relatively stable, narcissistic patterns can be modified through specific interventions. The key is motivation. The individual must recognize their patterns and genuinely want to change.
But isn't it hard for narcissists to even admit they have a problem?
That's the central challenge. Narcissism protects the individual from confronting painful self-perceptions. Therapy can help, but often requires a significant life disruption, a relationship collapse, career failure, to create sufficient motivation.
So people can change, but it usually takes hitting rock bottom first?
Not always, but frequently. There are also therapeutic approaches that work on building genuine self-worth, helping individuals find value in themselves without needing to feel superior to others.
That gives me some hope. What about prevention? Can parents do anything to raise kids who don't develop these traits?
Research suggests that warm, responsive parenting, where children feel valued for who they are, not just what they achieve, creates the foundation for healthy self-esteem. This is sometimes called secure attachment.
So it's about balance? Not too much praise, not too little attention.
Balance and authenticity. Children need to know they're loved unconditionally while also learning that they're not the center of the universe. They need genuine achievement to build real confidence.
This makes me think about our first topic too. Self-help books. Maybe the healthiest approach to self-improvement is the same. Genuine growth, not just feeling superior.
An excellent synthesis. Both topics ultimately concern the human need for validation and growth. The question is whether we seek these through genuine development or through shortcuts that ultimately leave us unfulfilled. Let's synthesize what we've observed today. Both phenomena, our obsession with self-optimization and the development of narcissism, reveal humans' fundamental need for validation, growth, and meaning.
It seems like the healthiest path is somewhere in the middle. We want to grow and improve, but not from a place of feeling inadequate or superior to others.
Precisely. The self-help industry and our understanding of personality development both point toward the same truth. Sustainable growth comes from genuine engagement with ourselves and others, not from quick fixes or protective facades.
I think that's a message a lot of people need to hear. It's okay to be in progress rather than optimized.
Indeed. And understanding the psychological structures behind our behaviors helps us make more conscious choices about how we pursue growth and relate to others.
Thank you, New York. This gave me a lot to think about. Not just about books and personality, but about how we all navigate wanting to be better.